Hey everybody, Chief Meteorologist Brad Petovich here. Wild weekend weather that we've got to talk about. Yes, I know there's the potential for winter weather next week. I will post sporadically about that this weekend, but I got to talk about what's in front of us first, one storm at a time. We'll do vlogs and get into details about the winter weather chances for the middle of the week once we get past tomorrow morning when we have wind, severe threat, rain, just a lot going on. So let's do this first and then we can focus on the wintry weather. So let's break down what's happening right now. We've got a pretty complex situation setting up right now. This is the wide view. We're in the cold sector right now. The radar not doing justice to the rain that's falling out here. That's the thing that's deceiving. People look at their radar apps and go, it's not really raining. No, it's raining everywhere. It's drizzle or mist. It's all below the radar beam. Remember, the radars don't cover every square inch of the sky or the surface. They're like cell phone towers. They're very sporadically put out. So there's giant holes in radar data that people take for granted. Just because we can display a national map like this doesn't mean all the data is the same. So a lot of people don't understand how the radar works. They just think it's everywhere. That's not the case. So just don't be fooled by the fact that the radar is not showing what's actually happening out there. And just to give you an example of that, I'm going to turn on the surface temperatures first because we'll get a good idea just how cold it is. We're in the 30s. But I also want to show you what's falling out there, the weather, basically surface report. So you can see there's not much showing up on the radar, but these areas where you see green, there's rain falling. So it shows you where there's surface reports of rain, even where there's not green on the radar. So drizzle and mist, again, forming really low in the atmosphere. The radar beam is overshooting it, so we're not seeing it. But as I mentioned, it's really cold underneath this air mass. Actually, I'm going to turn the radar off or the satellite off. We're going to turn the temperatures on. There's that pocket of cold air. Now, this cold air, if it holds on, this keeps the severe weather risk away. But you could see this strong warm front here, and there's a secondary warm front to the south. They're both trying to pinch off that cold air and bring warm air in. That's the big battle tonight to see if this warm air surges in here ahead of what is a pretty strong cold front back in here. We expect a pretty potent line of storms to develop later today into tonight. In fact, let me turn on the severe weather outlook for today and I'll show you that risk of severe storms just to the west of us. You can see it ahead of that front. In the Carolinas tomorrow, that risk is in the low to medium range. So it's a battle between these warm fronts. You can see how that warm front tries to get close to Charlotte, and that's the area we'll be watching overnight tonight into early tomorrow. No matter what falls, though, or what happens, I will tell you there is going to be a ton of wind with this system, a lot of wind energy with this system as it approaches from the north and west. So that's the thing I want you to be prepared for, the wind, regardless of the storm. So let's get into some of the details in our Futurecast. All right, let's dive into the Futurecast. So obviously we've got drizzle and mist all day today. The big story is going to be that warm air. How much warm air gets up here? And again, you can pretty much watch the temperatures and dew points here. If they start shooting up into the 60s overnight tonight, we're going to have some big time issues. So we'll get into this is about midnight to 1 a.m. You could see rain still ongoing, but there's that front. Look at it pushing in from the west. The one thing that works in our favor is this front is arriving in the morning. So even with the warm air trying to move in, it's the coolest part of the day. So if this was happening mid-afternoon, we'd have some serious issues. But either way, there is just so much wind energy with this. And what I mean by that is we are going to not only have strong winds coming in from the south, but very strong winds from the northwest coming in. And along this front, we're going to mix down these jet stream winds, which are just off the surface. We call it the low level jet, but they're going to be creeping down to the surface. So damaging wind gusts, even outside of thunderstorms, could be possible. That's why you're seeing so many wind advisories, high wind watches, as well as wind warnings, something you don't see very often. We'll see the front, it's weakening. So that's a good sign. This is about 8 a.m. tomorrow, crossing over. So that's why I'm not overly concerned with severe weather. What I mean by severe weather, hail, tornadoes, straight line thunderstorm winds. But I am worried about wind in general because of the overall wind energy. The wind is likely going to be more of a widespread event because of the wind energy and not the individual little cells moving through, if that makes sense. This will move through pretty quickly. That's I'm going to ask how fast, very fast moving. By the afternoon, skies are clearing as it pushes off to the east. In fact, on the northwest wind, we'll be howling all afternoon, even under sunny skies. So in the afternoon, we've got clear skies, but very windy conditions. And yes, snow moving into the mountains late tomorrow. Now, the winds are going to be a big, big part of this. I'm going to show you the winds in a second, but we'll come back to the winds. I want to show you the severe weather parameters. So just focusing on the I could spit it out. Brad spit it out. High resolution rapid refresh guidance, which is our short range models. We run this every hour. Kind of shows you the threat for tornadic storms overnight tonight and tomorrow. This is that significant tornado parameter. Notice not a lot in the Western Carolinas, just a little bit early tomorrow, but we definitely have one or twos in Eastern North Carolina. So overall, the tornado risk is not crazy high. It's really more about the wind threat. And let me talk about the winds. We'll show you the winds here at the surface. I'm going to show you the wind swaths. I always like showing these because it kind of shows you the wind maximum. So we'll go through time and watch that front come in. You see the winds really pick up and then push across the area. So look at some of these wind speeds. I mean, especially in Eastern North Carolina where we have high wind warnings, we have wind gusts that could be over 50 or 60 miles per hour, close to 50 here in the Piedmont. In the mountains, the winds will really be howling. Even on the back side of this, you can see the backside winds are going to be just as strong. So strong winds moving in with this system regardless of the severe weather risk. So Sunday is all about wind and heavy rain in the morning. So if you have loose items, if you have signs, lawn furniture, trampolines, hammocks, anything that blows around in the wind, trash cans, secure them today because tomorrow is going to be an incredibly windy day and we could see some trees, branches, and power lines come down, though honestly it could be a lot worse if there were leaves on the trees. That has a lot more surface area for the wind to catch, but because of the saturated ground, I do expect some trees, some power outages certainly possible as this line moves in. So tomorrow is windy and it's not just in the morning, it's going to be an all day event, so be prepared for that. We'll talk about the wintry weather coming up probably tomorrow. Once this front moves through, I will do a vlog about the Wednesday, Thursday event, but just a sneak peek, it's not going to be just snow. Get the snow out of your mind right now. This is going to be a wintry mix. Ice, sleet, freezing rain, and some snow. But snow is not going to be the primary driving force with the midweek system. Have a great Saturday. I will post updates and possibly do another vlog late tonight, early tomorrow, if it warrants for this wind threat moving in.